I'm Mike.
I'm Jim.
And this is Fanboy and the Hater,
a podcast about the best and worst in movies, TV, and pop culture. Welcome to a special short episode of the Fanboy and the Hater. One of the things that's been top of mind for me is we've been going to movies on a more regular basis now. And although I have been generally underwhelmed with the movies that we have seen, that's not really what I want to talk about in this short episode. I want to talk about the thing that you get inundated with when you go to see a movie in the theater. Not that you don't see them outside the theater as well, but you go to see a movie that's supposed to say start at like 1 o'clock. It really starts at like almost 1:30 because in addition to all the commercials you have to watch a bunch of previews for other upcoming movies. And a lot of times when I sit and watch it, it's like, I feel like I just watched the entire movie. Like this is too much in the previews. And I understand there's a balance there. It's like, you got to give me enough to make me decide whether or not I want to see it, I guess. But this is too much in movie previews. Do you feel the same way, Mike?
Well, first off, I don't appreciate the short joke at the beginning. For those of us vertically challenged, it's rough.
Yeah, most of our episodes are taller because I'm taller, but you know.
So I think at this point everybody knows how I feel about spoilers. And as you said, I mean, it's a common joke. We watched the preview and it's like, now I don't have to see the movie because there it was. That was the whole thing. And that's been my whole thing with any movie that I've been excited about is I'm forced to watch the trailer either by going to another movie and I can't just like leave the theater. Which I mean, I guess I could. I might actually end up doing that because it gets so frustrating. But beyond that, I mean, even like, okay, I'm going to open up my news app and scroll through the news. And even in there's like, oh, did you see the preview for this movie? This and this and this happens. Like in the headlines, like, okay, that's spoilery right there. But yeah, like you said, I mean, you see the whole movie there. And I joked, I think last movie we went to that, like, I remember when trailers used to be like, me, you, us, them, America, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's all the trailer was, right? You get like little flashes, but those wasn't scenes.
And yeah, now you get you just got like a vague semblance of what the movie was about and who was in it, and it was more of a tease. You were like, "What the hell's that? Maybe I should see that." But yeah, it wasn't much to it.
Yeah, but now it's like they're showing you all the best action scenes. They're showing you all the best jokes. They're showing you all like entire scenes. And it's gotten so bad that now they're throwing fake scenes in to try to throw you off because they know they're spoiling everything.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to come back to, the sort of the fake scenes, because that has happened as well. But they're not only just throwing in a lot of the best scenes and best jokes. It's like it seems like they're putting in just like a lot of like the narrative movie, like Oppenheimer. It's a movie about the Manhattan Project and the building of the first nuclear bomb. The preview not only kind of gives you an idea of what it's about, they like give you like the narrative, almost like the entire narrative framework of how the movie progresses from part to part to part. Like, here's how they're going to go recruit the scientists. Sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't. They're going to make them. It's like I'm watching like the entire movie. It's like I know pretty much the general framework of what's going to happen. It's like, why? Why can't it just be like, hey, you know that bomb thing? We're going to make a movie about that bomb thing. That's kind of interesting, right? Yes, I would say. But instead, like I said, we saw like entire scenes, what were probably important pieces of dialogue, pivotal moments. It's like, why? There's just too much stuff. I mean, again, I don't care about spoilers. In fact, often, as we've said in previous episodes, I actually go and actively seek out spoilers because I sometimes just want to know what's going to happen. And even I'm being annoyed by movie trailers and previews. So that's why I like caught my attention. It's like, if even I'm getting annoyed.
The annoyer is getting annoyed.
Exactly. It's like we've turned a corner. If it's bothering me, the hater and the spoiler, then something's got to be up. I mean, one of our friends who's been a co-host, a guest host on the podcast a few times, Reese, brought up a good example the other day that the first Suicide Squad movie they did a studio trailer where they basically took like all of the jokes in the movie and put them in the trailer. So people saw that and it's like, oh, wow, this is a comedy. because that's what the whole trailer was. And then you saw the movie, it's like, well, no, the movie's semi-serious, but every time there's a comedic break, you've already seen the joke because they put every single joke in the trailer.
That gets me too all the time. When they spoil an action scene, I'm in the trailer. I don't care as much about that because it's still going to be cool to watch. But when they spoil the joke, I'm just waiting for the joke.
Right.
Like I can tell that it's in the scene. It's like, okay, here it is. And there's the punchline. All right. Well, it was kind of funny when I saw it in the trailer, but now it's just bland here because I already knew what it was.
Right. Jokes, I think, is this stupid because, again, ruining the punchline stuff or showing funny things is just kind of messes with the whole enjoyment of the joke the first time. But on a different note, not just the humor, but I think that happens a lot when there's not a lot of humor in the movie and they want to make it seem like it's funny. They put the jokes in the trailer and that kind of ruins what would have otherwise been a potentially good laugh in the movie. On a different note is we saw a movie recently at the time of this recording that neither one of us liked, and that was The Flash. I was annoyed by the trailer because I think it would have been, and again, this is a partial, actually, this isn't even a spoiler because again, if you saw the trailer or a preview, you already knew this as well. So I'm not telling you, the listener, anything that you wouldn't have already known because like Mike had said earlier, nowadays, you have to try so much harder to avoid previews and trailers and spoilers that it's almost an impossibility. But all the theatrical trailers had this in it. The fact that Michael Keaton was coming back to play Batman. What? Would have been a great surprise to see happen in the movie. But not only is that in the trailer, but pretty much almost all of the pivotal scenes and dialogue he has in the movie are in the trailer.
And that's the only reason to see it.
It is. I mean, it's just like the whole thing is like, like, I'm Batman. Or the whole thing is like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Or, try not to die. It's like, I mean, literally, like, pretty much all of his important, almost all of his important lines of dialogue and pivotal scenes are in the trailer.
How much do you weigh?
How much do I weigh? Oh,
Right. I've been ranting since we saw it, like nonstop to everybody about how much that movie pissed me off. And one of the biggest things, not to go down that rabbit hole, but one of the biggest things is like Michael Keaton's Batman's only real lines are just rehashing things he's already said in other movies.
Which again, I'm not saying that, I mean, the movie was horrible. I'm not saying that the Michael Keaton parts were good. But it would have made those few moments of the movie enjoyable to me if I didn't know that was going to happen. It also would have been enjoyable to make us think that they were going to get Kal-El, and instead they find Kara. Not knowing that would have been cool too. Also, kind of in a way, like one of the few bright spots of the movie was I thought the Supergirl character was done well. But again, same thing there. Almost all of her, there's a few that aren't in the trailer, but many of her pivotal scenes are in the trailer. It's like another potential twist and surprise ruined.
Yeah. All they had to do was only show like part of the suit. And then people would be like, oh, what Superman are we going to see? All the buildup would have been which Superman, and then bam, Supergirl. Mind blown.
Exactly. And instead, we knew that going into the movie. So again, we don't want to go down the rabbit hole of harping on the Flash movie, but that was just another example that came to mind to me that just like what could have been even potentially enjoyable moments in otherwise bad movie are being ruined by trailers. And sometimes this is almost inherent in how weak the movie is itself. Like when the movie doesn't have much to work with, sometimes what goes into the trailer is like, well, these are the only good scenes we have, and we want people to come see the movie. So they put all of the best material in the trailer because that's all they have. And then you go see the movie, it's like, well, there's the 2 or 3 things we already knew was going to happen, and the rest of the movie sucks.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for the trailers, I would just go half an hour late to miss the trailers if I knew I was going to get the seat that I wanted. I'm very particular
Yeah.
about where I sit in the theater, so I have to get there early to make sure I get that seat that I want.
I half expect you to start bringing noise canceling headphones and like blackout glasses, so
Yeah,
you can just
just have
basically
somebody
just
tap me when.
yeah. So it's like, hey Jim, when the actual movie is going to start, tap me on the shoulder so I know I can take the glasses and headphones off.
I, I I've actually kind of done that. I mean, you've seen that. Like when preview starts and it's a movie I'm excited for, I'll like cover my eyes and try to look away and like hum to myself or something. I mean, oh man, it's so hard to get away from that stuff, and it's just ridiculous. And I'm getting angry. Why did you have to piss me off?
I don't know. It's just been one of those things that it popped up into my mind only because typically it's something that I know. Again, it's like a subcategory of spoiler, and we've covered this in our previous episode on spoilers and rewatchability about why spoilers are so particularly annoying to you. I think as you have phrased it in the past, if you wanted to see a grownish man throw a childlike tantrum, spoil a movie that you're looking forward to seeing. I
Oh
believe
yeah,
is the way that you have phrased it in the past on the podcast.
yeah, that would get me a little violent.
And it seems like nowadays, like you said, between social media and news feeds and everything like that, and the fact that those things are also competing for attention, and like you said, just the headlines alone become a spoiler, a preview of itself. Can you believe X happens in Y? Like it's like what? Like you, even if you don't want to read the article, the headline already told you something that you didn't want to know.
Yeah. There's another side of it too. So like there's a lot of people, that I watch regularly, and they just do like episodes where they talk about stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, here's a spoiler review for this thing." And then they'll start talking about like there's a thing that happens in the second act that kind of makes you feel like this, and it's like, okay, you didn't tell me what happened, but that's enough for me to now that I'm expecting something to happen right there. And I'm just going to be waiting to see what that was. And so that's into more of the spoiler category, but a lot of them, they're like, oh, it's not a spoiler because it was in the trailer. Well, I didn't watch the trailer, so fuck off with that too.
Yeah, I know some other podcasts that cover movies and TV shows actually do 2 episodes per thing they cover, a non-spoiler episode and then a spoiler episode, which is kind of like what you said, like some of the YouTube channels that you watch do that. Like here's a spoiler-free preview, and then if you don't want the spoilers, you watch that one. And then it's like, okay, here's the more detailed deep dive video that's going to be loaded with spoilers. Don't watch this one if you don't want to hear about all that stuff.
It goes into some of our conversations too of like when somebody doesn't care about spoilers, they don't realize what is a spoiler and what isn't.
Right.
And so there's a lot of that. They're like, oh, but I didn't tell you exactly what happened. I just alluded to or lightly mentioned. It's like, yeah, but that's enough. I want to know nothing.
Exactly. It was like the example you used that we mentioned in our Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 episode. You heard in passing that the High Evolutionary was in the movie.
Yeah.
And that was a spoiler for you that you were annoyed by. And like we had said in that episode, even though you see the character in the trailer, there's nothing in the trailer that leads you to believe or specifically names that character as the High Evolutionary.
Right.
In the trailer, you see generic bad guy doing generic bad guy things. And then you heard that, something told you that guy's the High Evolutionary, which is a comic book basis. And then that spoiled that for you and also made you have expectations for that character, which were not met.
No expectations were met in that movie.
Or again, just it probably would not have helped, as we discussed in our episode on that. Our guest host Reese was probably the only one of the 3 of us that went to see it that liked the franchise or even enjoyed that movie.
Have movies just been worse, or have I become the hater now? I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe I'm just more angry in my life, so I'm taking it out on the movies.
I know we had an episode at one point that we probably should revisit because it might have been too soon, but we had an episode titled, Was Endgame the End of the MCU? We had talked about in that episode about more the idea of like the story that they built up and the introduction of Thanos and all that stuff may have been too soon. But, and again, I'm generally the person I'm usually the hater, not the fanboy. But I got to say, with incredibly limited exceptions, I found the post-Endgame Marvel movies are substantially worse. And that's just Marvel. But I agree with you that movies in general, the only movie that we have seen probably in the last 6 months, we're recording this episode in late June 2023. The only movie in the last 6 months that I thought was actually fantastic was the second Spider-Verse movie.
I was about to take the next step. I think that's the only one that's been good.
That may be even, about to say that's true. I mean, that movie was amazing, pun intended, but you're right. It may have been the only good movie. We've covered a couple of them on the podcast, and we have, in some cases, had to go out of our way to point out some good things. But yeah, there probably has been more hater content than fanboy content recently. And I don't think it's an anger issue. I think you're right. I think movies are just kind of suck recently. There hasn't really been much out. And again, not just, we go to see mostly superhero type stuff. There are other movies, and I have seen movies in other genres. I was wondering to myself the other day whether or not movies have gotten worse or if movies are being dumbed down. Because even that horrible, not to go back to that again, but even that horrible Flash movie that we went to see, the audience that we were sitting in the theater with seemed to be enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like they were laughing at the parts that you were supposed to laugh at.
I'm glad you changed how you were wording that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you almost said the funny parts. I'm like, there weren't many funny parts. They were just laughing on cue.
But that wasn't the only movie, though. It just seems like a lot of the jokes are just really teed up and spoon fed, and a lot of the action sequences are just meh. And again, not just that particular movie, but in general. And it's just a matter of, I don't know if it's the limited attention span that you can't really do something too involved. Although again, Spider-Verse would be a great example of how you can, and it could be fantastic. Or the whole thing that we've also talked about numerous times before is like, you can't, since we're talking about a lot of examples in the superhero comic book genre, you can't just make those movies for comic book fans. Even though we live in the world of geek culture and geek is chic, and it's okay for there to be so many superhero movies and comic book stories. But if all they did was focus on that audience, it would not reach as much of a mass market. So it has to be dumbed down is probably not a fair way to say it, but it has to be brought to a more mainstream audience. Similar to like how we often argue about Star Wars. You remind me that Star Wars movies are supposed to be for kids, and they're not for Star Wars nerds in their 50s like me. The similar thing happens with the comic book movies. It's like they have to try to cast a wide net and kind of go down to like the lowest common denominator of a moviegoer, because they want as many people as possible to go see the movie, so it makes as much money as they can.
Yeah, I think we're treading on 2 short episodes out of this conversation. So at first, beginning of last year, I was giving a little bit of leeway saying, the pandemic really screwed up a lot of movie making.
Yeah.
And so I was giving a little bit of leeway, but we're getting to a point now where the thing that's messing the movies up is the way they're written. It's not how they're filmed. It's not how they're edited. It's not any of that stuff that would have been affected by the pandemic. It's how they're written. And the stuff that's coming out now would have been written during the pandemic when that's all they had to fucking do was write. So I would think right now should be some of the best written movies that have ever been made. And what are we getting? We're getting The Flash. I would drop my microphone, but I don't want to throw my headset.
Yeah, it's hard to drop a mic when we're actually recording on our bone conduction headphones as a test to see. Complete peek behind the curtain. We're recording this episode on a Zoom call as a test to see if we could use Zoom as a regular way to do some short episodes to get back on point, I guess. I think you raised an excellent point too. Is like one of my fundamental premises off the top was that they're putting all of the best parts of the movies in the trailer or the previews, and in part because there's not a lot of material. One thing I was annoyed by, they're giving away too much of the movie, but I also said that part of that problem could be that there's not much substance to the movie, and therefore there's not much trailer material. So they put the only good stuff about the movie in the trailer because there's not much to work with. But to your point, that's more of a byproduct of the fact that the writing is so poor that there's not a lot of source material to work with in terms of what could you put in the trailer or the preview when the movie is as bad as it is.
I wonder how much, if any, that has to do with like TikTok culture. People have such short attention spans, even the writers, that they're trying to write for short things Or maybe it's the other way around where they're trying to go so in depth that they're losing the general audience and we're not really able to follow. And that because they also have to cut so much because they just wrote a 15-hour movie. Now they got to cut it down to 45 minutes and they lose so much of the details.
The TikTok effect is an interesting point because maybe that's why there's a lot of like a rough collection of vignettes in terms of a sequence of just really short, quick scenes that basically just run through the movie and then that's the whole movie. And maybe that is because they don't think that the TikTok effect will let people actually sit through a longer medium. Although again, you're going to see a 2+ hour movie that's longer than a very short TikTok video. But I guess if you're making people pay too much attention without, I mean, I'm half expecting, I mean, obviously this would hopefully never happen. I'm half expecting them to put laugh tracks in movies. It's like getting dumbed down to that point. It's like the old, I mean, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but that used to be like the mainstay of like sitcoms pre-2000s was that they all had laugh tracks, whether it was recorded in front of a live audience or not. You were given cues of you're supposed to laugh now because you're hearing laughter.
It makes psychologically, it makes you feel more comfortable laughing if you hear other people laughing. I wonder if the people that were laughing in the theater of Flash were just hired by the studio to try to get other people to enjoy it. That would be a much more understandable explanation than people actually thought it was funny.
Just like how people like when we talked about in our stand-up comedy episode that it doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes when they would do like a recorded special, they would have people in the audience who would laugh on cue, plants to make sure, because like you said, laughter becomes infectious. People laugh when they see other people laughing, especially in terms of stand-up comedy. If it was like an awkward joke or a joke about material that you're not usually supposed to laugh at, which as we talked about in that episode, is really the bread and butter of stand-up comedy, that those plants help generate the laughter. And then it makes you think as you're watching the special that it's funny. Just like we also talked about in that episode, that one Bill Barr special, which he honed in the United States. Bill Barr. That was a that was a weird mix-up.
You can never go back to Boston.
I can never go back to Boston. I'm going to have to edit that part out. That's for sure. That Bill Burr special that he honed in the United States, but then filmed in the UK, and the audience gave him nothing. And I watched the special and actually thought it wasn't very good because the audience reaction wasn't very good, but it actually was good material on the second watch. It was just that it was just a different audience for what he would normally be playing to. So yeah, like you said, maybe that's who those people have been in the movie theater with us have just been plants from the movie studio.
See in that special too, my twisted ass, I was watching it just looking at like, oh man, he is recovering really well from this terrible audience. Like that was my whole thing watching that whole special. I'm just like, man, he is handling himself so well, so professionally. That right there is what makes him one of the greatest ever.
It's also a good tangent because we really haven't had too many examples of this, Cannibal the Musical notwithstanding, of movies that people didn't appreciate. Like in that particular case, the Bill Burr special was funny. The material was good. The audience gave him nothing. So it's more of like it was good. The audience didn't appreciate it. We haven't had too many examples of movies that like didn't get good reviews or audiences said they didn't like, but we did, or in general were good movies. So we haven't had that aspect of it. So it's not like, and maybe some people who are listening to us now are saying, oh, you guys are idiots. The Flash movie was amazing. It was incredible. Maybe there are people who
Nay, you are the idiots. Sorry.
Yeah. So maybe it's us. Maybe these movies that we're going to see are incredible. And maybe the previews are not, and the trailers are not giving away too much. And it's the perfect balance. It's the movies that everybody wants to go see. I don't know. So maybe we're the problem.
So challenge accepted. We need to do an episode on Bubble Boy.
There's a movie that I have not seen in a very, very long time.
Me either.
So that would be interesting to see. Just to come back on one last sort of somewhat closing point, you had mentioned earlier that I haven't seen a lot of this lately. It happened somewhat during the pre-Endgame Marvel days, I think. The idea of putting fake material in the trailer or if not fake material, unused material, things that got left on the cutting room floor and didn't survive the editing process to make it into the movie, got used and put in the trailer, or fake out material put in the trailer to negate potential spoilers. There haven't been a lot of examples of that lately, unless you can think of one.
Not off the top of my head, because again, I try not to pay attention to previews and stuff and trailers. But I mean, Endgame itself was a big one, because it wasn't Endgame, it was Infinity War. When the trailer had Hulk running with them during the war, but in the actual movie, it was Banner and the Hulkbuster.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And I think that was the one that really triggered people on it. So maybe that's why we haven't seen it so much recently.
That was probably the biggest
I'm just going to keep
example.
talking every time you start to talk.
Well, that's why it's good that the recording has 2 separate tracks. We can easily fix that issue. But I think that there have been some things, and I don't know this for certain, but I think the Ant-Man movies have had some extra scenes in the trailers. There's some more Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd funny moments that didn't actually make it into the movie. Because like, hey, just put it in the trailer. People find him funny. Maybe they'll make people come see the movie. So I think they do sometimes have some extra material that they just throw in there because it would actually be helpful. But it is one of those things. It's like when something is in the trailer or the preview, even me, like, again, I don't care about spoilers, but I mean, I am sitting there going, it's like, when are we going to see that scene that was in the trailer? It's coming up. It has to come up. It's like, or maybe they're going to fake us out, but it's like, we haven't seen that scene yet.
And then there's also the, hey, what'd you think of the movie? And there was no like, oh, it was a great ride or anything like that. It was, oh, it's exactly what I expected it to be. Everything's flat because you already knew everything. So it's not even just enjoyment of the movie, or not just like scenes that are being spoiled. It's the overall enjoyment of the movies being spoiled, because not only did you know everything that was going to happen, but you're expecting it to happen. And so you're not disappointed, but you're also not enjoying it because it's just is. It's like watching, I don't know, what's the stupid TV show you watch that you just have it on in the background and you don't really pay attention to it? I don't watch TV. I don't know.
No. Well, that's what I was just thinking. I mean, sitcoms popped into my head, but it's like, you really can't spoil sitcoms. I mean, most of them, again, are intended to be situational, and things don't really change. There aren't really like cliffhangers or anything like that, or surprise deaths or plot twists or something.
I've spoiled sitcoms by saying the punchline as they're saying the punchline, even though I've never seen it before. Man, now you're getting started on fucking sitcoms. God damn it. You just can't stop pissing me off today.
Well, that's just a different example of, again, it's a medium that it's not, it can't be spoiled. And it wouldn't be like if a preview came out that gave you an overview of the entire season of a sitcom. I don't think anybody would care. Or, I mean, that actually does happen, not the entire season, but I mean, obviously television shows have previews and trailers to a certain extent too. And they do give away scenes and jokes. But I mean, a sitcom is just not the same type of stakes or the same type of thing as a movie, even a comedy movie, whether it's comedy or drama.
I mean, you could go romantic comedy. They're all exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of formulaic stuff. You could say the same thing about superhero movies too. I mean, generally speaking, the good guys are going to win at the end. The bad guys are going to lose. So, I mean, you're not expecting it to be super different.
Every movie.
That's true too. And we've argued about that on the past too, on the podcast, that there's only so much that you could do with that.
Right. It's not
subverting
if Han
that
Solo's
formula.
going to survive. It's how Han Solo survives.
Right.
It's not whether or not the workaholic ex-wife is going to get together with this weird dude that she knew in high school when she went back home to visit her family. It's how they're going to get together.
The plot of every romantic comedy, basically. Yes.
Sandra Bullock in. Sorry, I don't watch those either. I
wonder if that would just be like a better way to. I mean, like I said, it almost goes back, like you said earlier, is like off the top is like that's kind of like what the trailers used to be. It's like, here is this actor. You've seen them in other things. Here is a movie that is like other movies. You should go see it.
Right.
Without really telling you much about, it's an action movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, I like action movies.
Right.
Oh, it's a romantic comedy with Sandra Bullock. Okay, I like Sandra Bullock. But that's it. You don't see like, oh, here's like all of the pivotal scenes and all the key jokes. It's just like it's almost like not even a trailer. It's just like saying, it's like, hey, do you like romantic comedies? Do you like Sandra Bullock? Go see this movie. It's a romantic comedy with Sandra Bullock in it.
Right.
That's it.
Hey, you want to watch Jean-Claude Van Damme punch Jackie Chan in the face? Here's a movie.
Exactly. We won't show you the scene. Does that scene happen? We don't know. It could happen. They're both in the movie. They both fight. It's going to be a fighty movie.
Yeah.
Hey, you like that kind of movie? Go see it.
Yep.
That's it.
I miss those days.
Yeah, well, to say, I mean, I don't know if it was a limitation of technology back then too, in terms of or concerns about giving away too. I mean, I don't know what the mindset shift there was in terms of not wanting to put too much in the trailer, or maybe it just was. Maybe it's the streaming problem too. The fact that trying to get people to actually go to the movie theater to see a movie, as opposed to sit on their couch at home and watch things on streaming services. You have to give them something to make us like, why would I leave my house to go to the movie theater as opposed to just watch something on Netflix or Hulu or whatever like that? Oh, okay, we have to show you a mini movie to show you why the movie's worth your time and money to go to the theater to see it. Maybe that's part of the problem too.
You know what? I haven't broken out this reference in a while. Giant monsters fighting.
Yep.
I don't know what else you need.
Exactly.
They could be fleshy or they could be robotic. They're giant and they're fighting. Go see it. Now I want to see Mechazilla. Like Optimus Prime.
I actually didn't see the first movie. Did you see Meg?
No.
So that was one of the trailers that was in one of the movies that we went to see recently, that they made a sequel to that movie. I had forgotten that movie even existed, the first one. I was like, oh yeah, that movie. But even like in that, it's like, I don't need a trailer for that movie.
Right.
Jason Statham, giant shark. Okay.
Right.
I'm not going to see it, but that's all I need to know.
Right. You remember the Meg? Well, now we've got the Meggiest Meg that's ever megged. Here we go. That was the trailer. And actually, that was a pretty good trailer for that movie. Honestly, it didn't, like, there wasn't much to spoil. It was just, hey, Jaws on steroids.
Yes, or as you made a cocaine bear joke that you wanted to know if the shark was on cocaine. But that's the type of thing, though, too, is like sometimes giving away a little bit too much in the trailer is good, because like sometimes I watch a trailer, it's like, okay, I know I don't have to see that movie. I watched the trailer. I was maybe on the fence, but it's like, yeah, I really don't need to go see that. I have no interest in seeing that movie.
Right. Well, there's also a side of it, too, is like, okay, I saw enough of it that I don't really care to see it in the theater. So I might have seen it in the theater, but now I'm going to wait for it to be on streaming because there's no point in spending that much to go see the movie that I pretty much just watched.
Yeah, I'm starting to get to that point again, too. Recently, we've gone to see movies in the theater on a fairly regular basis. And again, like we said up top, we haven't really seen very many good movies. I'm starting to wonder, it's like, why are we going to see movies in the theater?
Popcorn's delicious.
Popcorn's delicious. I mean, it used to be a sense of the movie was going to be good and you didn't want to hear about the spoilers afterwards. So we wanted to go see it opening weekend.
Pretty much it. That's the reason right there.
And other than the Spider-Verse movie, I really can't see that there was any other movie, because again, they haven't been good. Like if somebody spoiled a good movie, I could understand why you or other people would be upset. I mean, like some of our other friends, I just told them, it's like, yeah, you don't need to go see The Flash. Did you see the trailer? You saw the only things that were mildly good about the movie, if you want to call it that. It's like you have no need to see the movie itself, which is true of a lot of movies. So it's just like, yeah. So I guess in that respect, maybe that the trailers having too much in them have a benefit in that part.
So when we left The Flash, I called Brandon, who's been on the podcast before a couple times. I called him to let him know my thoughts on it. And I just sat there and ranted for like half an hour straight the entire way home. He's just like, man, I wish we recorded this one. This would have been great. And then I proceeded for the next 3 days, every day. Like one of those days we talked for like 3 hours. And most of it was me ranting about how much The Flash sucked. Yeah, I really wish I had recorded it because I had some good stuff in there that I'm not going to remember. And I don't want to see the movie again to remember what I said either.
Exactly. But yeah, that was a glaring example of a bad movie and a
That was
trailer
also spoiled by the trailer.
that was also spoiled by the trailer. But generally speaking, was the general gist or core ranty message of this episode is movie trailers and previews suck. Stop doing them.
Yeah, that's a good summary.
Yeah.
We should have just said that at the beginning and saved ourselves an hour.
Well, to say, yeah, it could have been a 30-second episode. It's like, yes, even the hater, me, who doesn't care about spoilers, has gotten to the point where I don't like movie trailers and previews. But the enjoyment that you get from movies that makes you the fanboy has been spoiled in the past by people spoiling stuff and has been spoiled by some of these movie trailers that put too much stuff in them. But the movies themselves have not been good. And again, like as we said earlier, there's a difference between a movie trailer that gives too much away about a good movie and a movie trailer that just gives too much away and the movie sucks.
Gives you all
The
the good
sec-
parts to make you think it's going to be good, and then waste your freaking time.
Although again, I
I'm-
would argue that wasn't the case with I was not expecting the Flash to be good. I'm not a huge fan of the comic book character for one. I'm not a fan of Ezra Miller, the actor, for two. So I mean, I did not have high expectations for seeing that movie. So, and I can't even really say that the trailer even made the movie look good.
So, without going on a tangent again about Flash, I will say that all the previews did for me was make me want to see what the other characters did. I never cared about what Flash did.
And that's probably the main thing for me. It's just like if the supporting characters had interesting stories, that might have saved the movie for me. Like if the fact that I would have liked to have not known that Michael Keaton was going to be in it as Batman, if his story had been interesting, if we got more of Kara and more of her story, that could have been interesting. The movie,
Or if they just generally did anything good.
if it is generally did anything good, but I mean, again, it's like, yeah, it's the Flash, so the movie's going to be about the Flash. But I think it's also a weakness of the movie and the character, the fact that there had to be Batman and Supergirl in the movie, because if it was all just that character, it probably wouldn't have been able to carry a movie. But again, we're talking too much about that particular movie. Like I had said earlier, a movie that I don't know if I'll see it in the theater, but I do want to see that Oppenheimer movie. I am interested in it, but I kind of feel like I've seen most of it already.
I also want to see it, but I don't know if I want to see it in the theater.
Yeah, like in that particular case, I think I can just wait for it to go to streaming. And that's just the thing. It's like there's very few things that are coming up in the next couple of months that I'm really looking forward to.
All this hatred aside, though, there was one successful trailer while we were there, Barbie.
That was probably one of the. I had no general interest in the movie. I wouldn't want to see it in the theater. I would watch it when it came out on streaming. I thought that trailer was well done. You get basically the entire premise of the movie, so it does give a lot away. But the part of the trailer that I did enjoy was the part that was like, if you love Barbie, you will love this movie. If you hate Barbie, you will love, or like, oh, this movie is for you if you love Barbie, or if you hate Barbie, this movie is for you. So they were definitely playing up both angles. And it may be in that particular case, that's kind of movie probably needed an extensive trailer to make people understand what the fuck is this going to be.
But you just kind of made the point there, and that's kind of a thing. Like, you remembered the trailer, it made you want to watch it. It took two people that probably would never have watched that movie and made them both curious enough that eventually we're going to watch it. Successful trailer.
There's a morbid curiosity to it, and it looks like from the trailer, right? The movie has a tone that I might appreciate. Like
Yeah.
I thought it was really going to be fucking stupid. I thought it was.
Right.
I don't want to give anything away. People will see the trailer. You can see that there is a serious undertone or philosophical question. There's more substance to the movie than I thought the movie was going to have. It's probably still going to be fucking stupid and largely dumb funny, which is not really favorite of mine. but I was pleasantly surprised to see that the movie actually has substance to it. Which, without that trailer, I probably would have been, not going to see that.
Right. So along with that, I guess that goes into another part of the conversation that we kind of had, but we kind of glossed over it. The trailers aren't for the people that want to see the movie already. The trailers are to try to convince people that don't know about the movie or weren't interested in it to start with, to try to pull them in. So I guess it's difficult for people like me to scrutinize over the trailers. I'm like, I already wanted to see this. I don't want to see the trailer for it because that trailer's not for me. And how do they market to the people that didn't already want to see it without a trailer like that? Because I'm going to see it either way. I'm not going to not see it because I saw the trailer. And it is a business. That the business isn't necessarily to be the most entertaining. The business is to get butts in seats. And that's the point of the trailer, is to get butts in seats.
That's a good point, because they really can't do that in the movies. I mean, the Barbie trailer was a combo of both people who wanted to go see it and people who had no interest in seeing it. In the theater, it's just one preview. I could see outside of the theater having separate trailers geared towards separate audiences in terms of, if you like, in that example, it's like, if you like Barbie, here's some of the reasons why you should see the movie. If you have no fucking interest in this movie, here's why you actually might want to see the movie. Like, to go back to the superhero comic book thing, it's like, us, we don't really need to be convinced that we should go see a superhero movie. In fact, even if it's bad, or we think it's going to be bad, we'll probably see it one way or the other anyway. Same thing with like a Star Wars thing. But like you said, the trailers really are for people who are not nerds or not comic book or superhero fans who want to determine whether or not they want to go see this movie. So maybe that's the crux of the problem right there, that most of the previews, especially the previews for the geek stuff, is really not for us. It's for the mainstream audience to determine whether or not they want to go see something geeky.
Right.
Or see that it's not too geeky, that it's something for people who aren't hooked on the source material. Again, to get more butts in seats. But it comes back to that same problem you talk about all the time. It's like, it's not like you can easily ignore it. You know, the noise canceling headphones and dark glasses in the theater, or again, just not use your phone for a month before the movie comes out. I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot to that, but maybe we should wrap it up.
It's okay. When I edit this episode, I'll give it the movie trailer treatment. So only the best material will be in it. So this will be a 45-second episode.
That's stretching it.
I take that back. It'll be a 45-second trailer for a 2-hour episode, but the 45-second trailer will be all you would have had to listen to. Actually, not even 45 seconds. Movie trailers and previews suck. Stop making them. What's that? 5 seconds? And that's the preview of the episode about previews. Previews and trailers suck. Stop making them. Stop watching them. And on that note,
thanks for listening to The Fanboy and the Hater. Check out our archives to listen to some of our past episodes, and stay tuned every Thursday for a brand new episode.